Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come out. And the San Antonio Spurs get a very pivotal Game 3 win on the road in New York. And you can't go down 0-3 in any playoff series. You damn sure can't go down 0-3 in the finals. And it was really good to see them win. And for the most part, I feel like their defense in the first two games was solid for the most part, but they got the win in this one, and I believe in majority of the playoff wins that they will get, their defense will be the driving force, and it was in this game. The first thing that I noticed in this game was that the San Antonio Spurs did not play around with the Karl Anthony Towns matchup. Majority of their defense is keeping Victor as the low man or near the rim as much as possible, so I was very surprised when in game one that they opened it and Wemby was guarding Cat. There's a lot that has been said over the years with Cat versus centers and then Cat versus the wings, and I just thought that that was an easy like pencil in Victor on Josh Hart for majority of the time. He was not on Cat for the whole game, right? But in game one, there was a lot of that. In game two, they started the game the same way, but possessions with Wemby on Cat did tail off in game two. But in this game, they wasted absolutely no time. They put the wings on Karl Anthony Towns from the start. And if you look at what Karl Anthony Towns has been able to do in the first two games, right? 4 of Cat's first 5 buckets in game one was him driving past the center and getting a paint score. 3 of those were against Victor Wembanyama. In game two, 12 of his 21 points were against centers. And in this game, he only had 12 points. He was 4 for 10. 2 out of his 3 real like shot creation scores in this game were against Luke Cornett. It's just they were able to get under him. I thought Keldon Johnson did a phenomenal job when he came into the game. Now this is just a careless New York Knicks turnover, which they had like 3 of those to start in the first quarter. But I just wanted to highlight the matchups in to start this game. And even though I do give the Spurs a lot of credit for this Cat game, the Knicks offense just was not as crisp as they usually are. I don't think Cat got a touch in the half court for like the first 6 possessions of this game, and there were just a lot of opportunities where I thought Cat could just get a post up, could tuck in against smaller guys, or just even touch it, right? And I think the Knicks offense with again, parts of San Antonio's pressure and all that stuff, they were just very stagnant in this game. But you go to this possession, right, and the 94 feet pressure by the Spurs, it forced people other than Jalen Brunson to bring the ball up to create offense, and sometimes they did not let Jalen Brunson touch the ball after he didn't get it on the inbounds. But here they almost get a steal, and this is the impact of Victor Wembanyama, right? So Josh Hart drives, he sees a Devin Vassell right there, and OJ Anunoby goes up. Victor Wembanyama, that level of verticality with that length, you're just not really going to get anything out of that. Josh Hart spins around because he sees Victor Wembanyama. Mikal Bridges pump fakes the first 3 because of the closeout, and then he steps back and Victor blocks that. All right, so here's some of the thinking with putting a wing on Karl Anthony Towns. So here we have the step-up screen to combat some of the pressure. A step-up screen is a screen angled toward the opposite baseline, right? So they're trying to get Castle off of Jalen Brunson, but they always, the Spurs that is, they always want to put immense pressure on Jalen Brunson, right? So they're not going to switch this all the way back here, right? Champagnie is going to shade over so Jalen Brunson can't just get an easy drive. But Castle's going to chase after that screen so they get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's hands. Because this is not a 7'4" guy and this is a wing, this is a 6'6", 6'7" guy that can move his feet better than Victor Wembanyama. He's coming over, right? And his closeout and his lateral quickness is more under control, right? And we saw in the first 2 games this a lot of times where if Victor is coming back from something, it's just going to be a lot slower than this of a Champagnie, of a Castle, of a Vassell, of a Fox, of a Keldon, right? And Karl Anthony Towns pump fakes, Victor has bit on those pump fakes, especially when he's coming back and he's rotating back to Karl Anthony Towns, and that has enabled Cat to pump fake and then drive. But Champagnie's right under his drive, he stops his drive, and this is what they want, right? Josh Hart, he made shots in this game, but this is what they want. Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart having the same amount of shot attempts in this game. All right, so here we see some more of that pressure. Harper and Stephon Castle all the way up on Jalen Brunson so he can't get the ball on inbound. So the ball goes to Josh Hart. We're going to have a little go screen there by Jalen Brunson. Castle switches out on him, and Dylan Harper has so many smart and timely rotations and scramble mode defense in this game. And just for a rookie to have such a level of fearlessness in this moment is just really good. So he's in a cover 2 situation right now, right? He has Landry Shamet in the corner, and he's also closing out to Jalen Brunson. Something that you always want to do in a cover 2 situation is split the difference, because any little millisecond that you can cause indecision with the ball handler helps your teammates get back. So as this happens, right, he sees the pass go to Jalen Brunson, he comes out, but watch his arm. his arm right there gets in the middle of this passing lane, forces the pump fake and then the pass, which then gives the tall guy an extra beat to get to Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet drives. We've seen a lot of nasty dribbles caused by Victor Wembanyama. And again, you get a Josh Hart moving three like that. Hey, gotta be cool with that. All right, so I floated this out before this series even started, and I know this player was not going to be in the starting lineup to be able to do these things a lot, but I thought if you needed a wing to be on Anthony Towns, I think Champagnie has done a cool job. Castle, when Jalen Brunson isn't in the game, has done a cool job. But Keldon Johnson, you talk about body type. Like, Keldon Johnson is a guy that can just fight and sumo wrestle Anthony Towns, and that's what him and Anthony Towns were doing this entire first quarter. They were just hugging each other, hooking each other, wrapping around, and but I thought Keldon did a phenomenal job of just getting under Cat. And the pressure again from Stephon Castle. They tried to use a screen right here. Castle goes over the screen, and Anthony Towns can't really set that screen. Then the pressure forces the pickup in an errant pass by Jalen Brunson. Again, just constant physicality, constant pressure by the San Antonio Spurs. So we got Landry Shamet. He's gonna set that one screen. He's gonna get to the logo, and you can just see from this entire possession the jostling for position that Anthony Towns and Keldon Johnson are doing. And he just didn't let Cat move freely at all. The ball hits the Anthony Towns, and there's 10 seconds on the clock, and the Knicks have not done anything like at all. And the ball is still above the 3-point line. They have not touched the paint. We got the back screen here by Landry Shamet. Then he sprints off for the dribble handoff. That's that page of action right there. And they don't touch inside the 3-point line until 5 seconds on the shot clock. Now, there is a 7'4" guy on the court, and all he has to do is put his arm out, and this whole driving lane that Landry Shamet was about to go in is just done. That forced the pass out, then a contested corner three from OG is all. All right, so we got Anthony Towns trailing, and we got Keldon Johnson on him, and just watch them jostle and fight for position this entire possession. Now, if you're the Knicks, you do get Victor Wembanyama switched on to Jalen Brunson. He does force the Nash triple here, but they are able to draw him out all the way to the 3-point line on their best player. But again, Anthony Towns is down here in the paint against a smaller player, and the focus can't even be him getting like a post touch or like him trying to like get post up position, because they're fighting for position. Keldon Johnson's on him. Carl's grabbing his arm or hooking his arm. Now, we've seen Jalen Brunson hit shots over Victor Wembanyama on the perimeter, even though it's still going to be a very tough thing. But this is kind of what was happening to Cat in this game. All right, so here we have Josh Hart bringing the ball up again. You see the pressure that Stephon Castle is applying on Jalen Brunson. Okay, look. I know there's going to be another thing that happens on this play, but I'm here to focus on Keldon and Anthony Towns. There's going to be something else that happens on. Okay, all right, Victor, Jesus. All right. Look at Anthony Towns and Keldon Johnson. Again, this was happening on both sides, man, where when Cat was on Victor, he was legitimately holding him from getting to screens and getting to places. There was no freedom of movement at all. And the physicality between Keldon and Anthony, again, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Look over here. Look over here. The physicality between these two, when they were trying to get Cat post up here, all the focus is on trying to get positioning instead of having the position and trying to get the ball. They do end up calling a foul on Keldon, but you can just see the toughness there. All right, so perfect stuff here with the wing on Anthony Towns and the ghost coverage on Josh Hart, which Luke Cornett is very familiar with playing when he was with the Celtics. So Anthony Towns actually does get the ball here with 9 seconds left, but then we have Luke Cornett here tiptoeing the 2.9 rule, coming in and out of the paint and just waiting for Anthony Towns to do anything, right? They just end up passing the ball back to Josh Hart, and he has to take a contested three. And it was actually so crazy to see like the complete demeanor change and the complete aggressiveness change when Anthony Towns had a 5 on him. Like, again, he made 4 shots in this game. 3 of them were actually him creating for himself. 2 of those makes were on Luke Cornett. And you could just see how he just stiff-armed him and nobody called anything. But then the perp afterwards, like, hey, listen, bro. There was such a vast difference in what Anthony Towns was able to do in this game with a wing on him and a center on him. It was just different, and he just plays with so much edge when matched up against Cornett in this game. All right, so here the Knicks go to double get. The double part is the 2 screens right here. So we're gonna have the first one by OG Anunoby, then we're gonna have the second one here by Mitch Robinson. Now the get part of this is named after get action. Get action is when somebody passes the ball to somebody to immediately go get it back for a dribble handoff, right? So he's going to use that first screen from OG. He's going to flip it to Mitchell Robinson with the sole purpose of going to get the ball back, right? But great job by Luke Cornett here. He's going to hedge right here so Jalen Brunson can't turn his corner. They're going to switch the first one in behind that, and then he's going to get back to Mitchell Robinson right there. So great job by Luke Cornett and the Spurs defending this action. Then we got a contest by Devin Vassell. And this is just as impressive of 94 feet one-on-one defense you're going to see from anybody guarding Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson just had to exert so much energy, but like, just look at what the Knicks offense is. Now, this is end of the clock at the end of the quarter. Like, you want the ball in his hands. There's not going to be a lot of intricate things that's happening when you want the ball in your guy's hands to take the last shot of the quarter for you. But it's one screen, right? He's still at half court with 8 seconds left. Then there's another screen coming. The Spurs are able to switch up and into space on the first one, so he has no advantage there. They try to get the goal screen going, and it's just him taking a contested shot, which he can hit over Champagnie. All right, so just an incredible defensive possession by the Spurs at the start of the second quarter. So we have Victor Wembanyama on Convy Towns. He's going to tell Carter Bryant to switch so he can stay low and in the corner. Ball goes to Convy Towns at the three-point line. Alvarado's going to cut through. Victor Wembanyama is going to touch him just to make sure he does not cut free. And a great time pass here by Convy Towns, because as soon as he sees Victor Wembanyama's focus come off of the corner, he passes it to Deuce McBride. That forces a closeout, and he attacks that closeout and gets past Victor. But great help by De'Aaron Fox. And again, we have a cover 2 situation, right? So in that, Stephon Castle's going to do a phenomenal job, right? He's going to split the difference right there with his hand. So this pass can immediately go to OG Anunoby. The pass doesn't go there at all. He plays good defense. Alvarado's going to catch him with a little hesitation right there. But again, he's not even going to think about going up with Victor right there. Carter Brown's going to play good defense here and block a 3. All right, so here we got Vassell on Convy Towns, hugging Convy Towns, so he's not able to screen, but he does effectively in this take out Vassell and Champagnie on this, and Alvarado gets a free drive into the paint. He could have took this little pull up right here, but he sees Victor Wembanyama and he turns around. Now we see them trying to look into Convy Towns to get this pass, but with Vassell on this side and Victor lurking right here, they can't get the pass off, so the ball goes to the corner. Who Victor's guarding, they swing it around. They finally get to Convy Towns into the post, but then Victor's able to come over so he can't drive, and they force this wild fadeaway attempt. And again, just the difference when a center is on Convy Towns. All right, so here we got perfect ghost coverage on Josh Hart. So we see Vassell is fronting the post on this inbound on Convy Towns, which means that the lob pass is the only option if Jalen Brunson was to pass here. But Luke Cornett is shading the backside help right here, so this pass can't go there. Now, Josh Hart has the right idea. He flashes up, so now the passing angle changes. And now maybe if Luke Cornett comes up to Josh Hart and away from the backside help, he could pass it over top. But Luke Cornett doesn't even flinch when Josh Hart gets the ball right here wide open in the mid-range area, so he stays right there and he gets a steal. All right, so here's some more good 94 feet pressure by the Spurs. We see Josh Hart set that step-up screen that Convy Towns set earlier just to alleviate some pressure for Jalen Brunson. Now, we're going to see as Jalen Brunson gets space from Vassell, we're going to see Victor Wembanyama. He's going to cup Jalen Brunson here as his man is not down the court yet, so Jalen Brunson just can't get a free drive into the paint as his teammate recovers. As Devin Vassell recovers, everything's back to normal. We got a screen. Champagnie is going to switch up and into space. We got OG Anunoby on the wing. He's going to do a left-hand drive. You see that swipe stunt right there by Harper, forces the pickup. And again, Victor Wembanyama being in the paint is going to force a kick out. Victor Wembanyama being in the paint is going to force a kick out. Harper almost gets the play. And then Victor Wembanyama being in the paint is going to force another kick out. And if you're the Spurs, like, OG Anunoby has made these shots. I think his true shooting percentage in the postseason is like 71 or some shit, right? This is a phenomenal move. But with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, if these are the shots that you're forcing, you should be okay. All right, so here's the impact of Victor Wembanyama always trying to be the low man. He gets low after being at the top of the key with Josh Hart. Drive right there by OG, but his length is able to be in the pass lane. He gets a steal. All right, so welcome to the second half, but it's more the same pressure, 94 feet from the Spurs, right? And just look at what the Knicks offense is on this play. He's at the logo with 12 seconds left. Nobody has set a screen yet for him. Josh Hart finally comes to set a screen. Champagnie switches up and into space. And Jalen Brunson has just been dribbling the ball for 17 seconds, trying to do something. Great defense by Champagnie. Got great gap help there by Stephon Castle. He gets past it, but then he sees Victor Wembanyama, which of course is going to force a pass out. And then Victor bats the ball down. All right, so this play does end in a foul, probably, finally, definitely if you're a Knicks fan, but they force somebody other than Jalen Brunson to bring the ball up. He sets a screen. Well, he doesn't really set a screen, but they switch up in the space. And here we have Victor Wembanyama actually on Conley Towns on this play, but he's going to hand him off to Devin Vassell as OG gets the ball. Now, Vassell's going to front the post, which means you need backside help if that lob pass comes. Now, having Josh Hart in the corner, Champagnie is very comfortable with coming off of him and doing that. Now, the Knicks were asked for 3 seconds a lot in this game. As you see right there, Jalen Brunson trying to make the ref aware of it right there, and he says the 3 right there. But I don't know the distance rule on 3 seconds, like how close a guy has to be to an offensive player. So I'm not really sure, but this does look like 3 seconds, even though Carl is in the paint right there. So I'm not sure. But being able to be right here for Champagnie, so this pass can't be in the front and it can't be in the back because Champagnie's here. They can't get the ball to Conley Towns, and Josh Hart has to flash up, but there's a foul. All right, so OG's gonna get the ball here in the corner. He's gonna do a strong drive baseline, and of course somebody's gonna be there at 7-4 to like make sure that does happen. If they force a pickup, we got a couple guys in cover 2 situations here as Fox and Stephon Castle are. Ball goes to the top of the key. Fox correctly chooses, but then he overruns the play, right? So Mikal smartly cuts. Victor Wembanyama is going to make sure he can't get an attempt at the rim, and then a good pass out there by Mikal, but a good close out there by De'Aaron Fox. All right, so Castle's pressure again forces the ball to go to somebody else. We got Josh Hart bringing the ball up, and Castle making sure that Brunson can't touch the ball turns the start of this possession into a Josh Hart Mitchell Robinson pick and roll. If you're the Spurs, you're probably crying tears of joy right now. Now, Jalen Brunson does touch the ball for the first time with 11 seconds left, but then Castle, again, continues to play great defense on Jalen Brunson. Ball goes back to Josh Hart. We've seen Josh Hart hit the shot, but if he's taking moving mid-range shots for the Spurs, that's what you want. All right, so no Jalen Brunson in the game means that Conley Towns needs to be the focal point of the offense. No Jalen Brunson also means that Stephon Castle is on Conley Towns. You see that he's just not letting Conley Towns go anywhere, and Conley Towns isn't fighting for position anymore as Stephon Castle has his hands up. And look at what the Knicks offense is. They stood there for what, 10 seconds trying to get Conley Towns into the pinch post, or at least at the top of the key. Ball goes to Mikal Bridges with 10 seconds left. He stands there for what, 3, 4, 5 seconds. He finally drives, nothing there. Ball goes to Landry Shamet, and he takes a wild contested 3. All right, so there's some more 94 feet pressure by Dylan Harper on Jalen Brunson, and we're going to see the pre-switching chess match here between these guys. So ideally, if the Knicks are going to run a pick and roll, they want Victor Wembanyama in that pick and roll to get him away from the paint, right? So Conley Towns looks like he was coming up to set the screen. They pre-switched that so that Vassell can be on Conley Towns. Then OG comes over, and then they pre-switch that so Vassell can be on him. And again, look at what the Knicks offense is, right? They just spent half of the shot clock trying to figure out who's coming screen. They finally set the screen. Well, actually, he doesn't even get to set. Okay, he sets the screen there with 6 seconds left at the hash mark with Brunson picking up his dribble. And again, it results in a score because OG is one of the best shot makers in history, I guess. But that is good defense. All right, so I talked about that pre-switching earlier with Spurs, and we're going to see some more of that here with them trying to keep Victor Wembanyama out of the pick and roll. So this first screen by Deuce McBride is going to switch Harper onto Brunson. And then with Victor Wembanyama next to Conley Towns, Towns is going to think that Victor's checking him. So he's going to come up and try to set this screen, but Victor's going to tell Champagnie to pre-switch this. So now he's a screen defender. Jalen Brunson sends him through because that's not Victor Wembanyama. Now they have an empty corner pick and roll here with Victor as a screen defender. Victor's going to come up, but then he's going to drop back to allow his teammate to get back to Jalen Brunson. We got the handoff for the 3 and a wild shot by Deuce McBride. All right, so here we have elite scramble mode defense and rotations by the San Antonio Spurs. So Jalen Brunson's going to set the first screen. Castle's going to switch up into space. Vassell's going to push Cat out to 3-point line. Well, out further. He's going to set the screen, but no need to switch there. Now, it looks like Jalen Brunson was coming for some zoom action here. Zoom action is when somebody receives an off-ball screen to go get a dribble handoff. So Landry Shamet looks like he's going to be the off-ball screen, and he's going to come out to try to get this handoff from Josh Hart. But Dylan Harper smartly sees that, and he jumps out right there to make sure that Jalen Brunson can't get the ball. But that opens up this switch pocket here so that Shamet, as Fox is trailing Jalen Brunson, Shamet gets open on his cut. Great pass by Josh Hart, but again, Victor saves a rim attempt and a pass out. Now, we got Conley Towns wide open. Watch how Fox and Castle scramble to make sure this is not a shot attempt. Fox scrambles, he jumps, Castle's there to protect him. Then Dylan Harper's there to protect him. Victor Wembanyama comes out to close out, and you got to put the ball on this side of the rim. And Shamet just lays it up there loftily and Victor bats it out. And the Spurs just helped each other so well on defense in this game. So we have Jalen Brunson with the ball. The rookie Taylor Harper is going to tell Victor Wembanyama to switch onto Josh Hart. We have a drive by Jalen Brunson. He sees Victor Wembanyama. He passes out. Vassell closes out, and they both go to Jalen Brunson, and he gets past both of them. Now we're going to see Fox and Castle slide over to try to stop this drive. Castle ends up getting the block. Now the loose ball goes Carvey Towns, and De'Aaron Fox, again helping his team, backside block. All right, so last but not least, they get the ball out of Jalen Brunson's here to Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges does not even look at the rim at all, loses the ball, and nobody else is even looking to create a shot other than Jalen Brunson at this moment. Now, we're going to see Ely coaching here and recognition here by Mitch Johnson, right? So they see that Mikal is going through, and he's going to tell Dylan Harper to stay up, and they pre-switch this, right? We saw earlier that they were able to get this empty side pick and roll right here with Victor Wembanyama in that drop coverage with Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson as the offensive pairing, but he's going to tell Dylan Harper to come up. So now he's just able to switch that. Victor's able to stay in the corner and contest this three. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone as you can. Just so you out there a little bit more. And I will see you guys next video. This is Nick. Peace.